Superheroes speak a comic book dream, where legends are born and stories redeem. With Dave, John, and Dawn, whom will we cast? A podcast that's here to make the past last.
Hello and welcome to Superheroes Speak, the greatest podcast on the internet. That's what people are saying. At least that's what I've heard. And I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm Lex Friedman. Don.
Oh, yeah. Dapper Don today.
Yeah.
Some people were working on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a sin, isn't it?
Indeed. Depends on who you ask.
All right. Before we get into anything tonight, I think this is very, very important. It's a solemn moment on this podcast. It's very rare, but there was an election this week, and I'm sure everyone is curious what our thoughts are and how we feel about the results. And all I have to say is,
what are you doing? We don't do that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck politics. Let's have some fun. How is everyone doing? As people, I guess I should also address the elephant in the room. John is still off dealing with family issues, and I tried to get someone to fill in. And when I told everyone what we were talking about tonight, they went, "Yeah, now I'm out." So, so this should be interesting. That being said, how you doing, Don? What's new in your world?
I mean, this is not a lot new. I mean, to be quite honest with you, just working a lot, and but I am very happy because I love this movie Snatch, whether you agree it's a comic book / superhero movie or not. So I'm very, very excited to talk about that. But I'm also very excited, like you said, we're not going to get political here. But it is nice that, since Wednesday, the kids are no longer, stating just random political slogans out of nowhere. So that's nice.
Yes, the texts have stopped. The ads have stopped.
Yeah.
Now it's just social media won't shut up about it. But hey, let that happen on social media. We'll keep doing our stupid stuff here. Which is, look, I love the man like a brother, but it's also why I'm kind of glad John's not here this week. All right. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I had a boring week in my personal life, but an interesting week in my work life. My boss called me up on Thursday, and so I've been working at my current company for 5 years, and I've been on the same team since I started there.
Mm-hmm.
And my boss calls me up, and he's like, "Yeah, starting immediately, you're no longer on your current team. You're on this team." And
wow,
I was like, "Okay." And there's precedent behind this, so
realignment.
For about the last year and a half, there's been a hiring freeze at my company, and a couple people have left or moved to other departments. So the other teams are short-staffed. And last year, we were supposed to do this big revamp of the software that I'm in charge of, and it was me and the other developer were going to do all the we're on version 3, so we were going to create the version 4 basically of the software. Had all these grandiose plans of what we wanted to do. It was like a total rework of how we do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me and the other developer, and they brought in 2 consultants to do the keep the lights on kind of work, while we were doing the upgrade. And I want to say 6 months, 3 to 6 months, I don't remember the exact time frame, into the project, it got canceled. So I'm like, okay, I guess they're going to get rid of the consultants and we'll just go back to business as usual. No, they have kept the offshore consultants since then, and we now have too many people on our team. So
Uh,
instead of moving one of them to another team, they grabbed me. So it's like, okay, fine. No one seems to know what's going on though with this move. Just my boss called me up and said we're doing it. Like other people have been told, but like when I try to ask questions, no one knows anything. So it's like,
uh, yeah, that's
okay.
frustrating. I deal with that a lot too, because yeah, it's like software developer churn, and so when we need to ask questions like, "Why does this do this? Why did we originally have it do this?" And everyone's like, "Oh, great."
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's been interesting. And then I got a new hat, like my new hat. So
Nice.
I was at the store with my girlfriend and they saw it, and my my one grandfather wore a hat like this all the
Yeah.
time and smoked cigars. So I just picked it up. I'm looking at it like, oh, this reminds me of my grandfather. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she just grabbed it from me and went and bought it for me. It's like, oh, okay. So pro tip, put your resume out immediately. No, I don't. That's not. I trust me. That's not a concern I have at the moment. Uh, I mean, I don't have a concern that they're trying to get rid of me. I do have a concern with having to be on a new team and learn new stuff. But I've already started looking at the code. There's nothing scary in it, so we'll see. Um, it's I was and I'll say this too, Kasan. It's something my boss did bring up to me a little while, like a while ago, and like he said, "Would you mind if you were moved to another team to help out?" And I'm like, "No, I guess not. If we really have to do that." And I said, "Okay," but that was like the beginning of this year, so like why it took this long to actually happen, that's the part I'm curious about. Like,
Oh, he was just feeling you out. Like, okay, is he going to have to be voluntold? That's all. Like, he's like, oh no, that's all. Just
no,
check. No, he's good.
that's the best. That's the best expression ever, voluntold. So I will
I
tell
say
you
that
this.
where I work all the time.
I'll say this though. This whole situation has kind of reminded me of a story. Um, so there were these three men who crash land on an island, and the island is filled with cannibals. And they capture the three men, and they say um, that that they're going to eat them, and they're like, "Well, wait," and they said, "Okay, you could save yourself, but here's what you have to do: go into the jungle and find 10 pieces of fruit and come and bring it back here." So the three of them run out into the jungle. First guy comes back, he found 10 oranges. And he goes, "Okay, what do I have to do?" And they're like, "Shove all 10 oranges up your ass without making a noise." So he gets the first one up there, he gets the second one, and he's putting the third one in, and and he just couldn't do it, so they killed him and they ate him. The second guy comes out of the jungle and he's got 10 grapes. So he's got he's got 9 in there. Or back got like 9 in there. He's getting that 10th one in there, and he started laughing. So they killed him and they ate him. And the two guys are up at the pearly gates, and the first guy turns to the second guy and goes, "Wow, like I thought you had that. What happened? What made you crack and start laughing?" The third guy was coming out of the forest with pineapples. There is
uh,
your dirty joke of the week. Ba-doom. Inappropriate. I'm sorry, inappropriate joke of the week. Tell that at your next staff meeting. Um, since we're talking work. Yeah. So that's it. I did not get caught up on Penguin. There is some interesting news that we're going to talk about around Warner Brothers and TV shows. Um, But yeah, and I don't really have a question for the week either. It's what can I say? I'm a lousy host this week. Uh,
We're all of our
yeah,
off weeks, days, months, years,
lifetimes. Yeah.
right?
Um,
Eh?
yeah. That's all I got. So you know what? If you want to find some of our old episodes, or maybe read some comic book reviews, or find some other great podcasts, Darth Don has more to tell you.
Good evening, plebeians. Darth Dawn here to tell you that Superhero Speak is not just a YouTube show. It is also a website. You will go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social media links to the show, comic reviews by Chris, and most importantly, our merch. You will buy our merch. And while you are on the HoloNet, you must check out the rest of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network, an influential conglomerate of podcast shows like the Pop Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, That's So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, Twisted Mind of 8-Bit Ray and the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, the powerful Superhero Speak. Plug in hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. And if you do not comply with my request here tonight, I will torture you by making you watch The Acolyte, the one and only season, over and over again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a double feature to catch. They're showing Blade 2 and The Matrix Reloaded at the drive-in. Now, back to the show.
Why did I just say Matrix Reloaded? Why didn't I just say Matrix?
Because Matrix Reloaded stinks. And
I
Blade
didn't-
Trinity.
I didn't-
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate Reloaded because I thought it had cool fighting. But
Yeah, I think Revolutions might be the worst. And you know what? Speaking of bad movies, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, you haven't done so far yet, please click that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights on youtube.com/Superhero Speak. If you like what you're seeing, smash that like button because it really does help with the algorithm, gets the show out to more people so that they can enjoy it as well. And if you're so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. You can get a Superhero Speak t-shirt, be styling, like the kids say, at your upcoming functions. People are going to go, what is that? And go, it's an amazing podcast. You should go check them out.
that's right. Superhero Speak merch equals Riz. So put on that
Exactly.
Riz.
There you go. That's what all the kids are saying. At least that's what I've been told. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with some news.
Some podcasts are like this.
There's not an ocean between us and South America.
Around it,
In between it, we're not connected.
we are literally connected.
North America and South America are no, they're not. No, it's not.
Central America!
Cam, I'll pay you $1,000 if there's not an ocean between us. I'll pay you $1,000 right now.
I'm telling you, will have to give me $1,000 if you put your hand out. There's water all around it. There's oceans to the left.
That's
there's
in
oceans-
between.
There's oceans to the right. The land connects.
No, it does not.
Put your hand out. $1,000.
Which one's us?
You find it, buddy.
Which one's us?
Find
Like,
it.
what globe?
They're all the same.
That's oh shit me.
Oh, what do you know?
No,
Oh,
this is an
shit.
updated one. No.
Globe?
No,
That's the globe, you rat bastard.
this is a 2020.
Hey up!
No, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, it does. You shook.
That's never been there.
That's always there. That is Central America.
That's Mexico. Bitch, does that not say Mexico on the thing?
What about all the other ones? Little names right there. Read
It's
them.
all the same thing. It's Mexico.
That's not Mexico.
That's a different country in the same land.
Yeah.
That's possible?
And some podcasts are like this.
So what's your take?
Divorce, not that big of a deal.
100% agree. Divorce is not that big of a deal.
It's just a breakup after a party.
A legal breakup.
I don't even, yeah, sure. I guess. I had a friend recently who's like, my parents just got divorced. And I was like, yeah, but you're not 13.
Yeah, you're like, who cares?
Also, have you ever gotten out of a lease? That's just as hard. In this city, I'd rather have a child than a lease.
You got to break up with your landlord.
No, she's my favorite.
When you
It might be my longest
when
relationship.
you break your lease, it's like it's getting a divorce from your landlord. That's so sad.
Have you been divorced?
Of course. Have I been divorced? I'm 37. Everyone should be divorced at least once.
At least once.
Before 40. Otherwise, it means you aren't living.
So I haven't lived.
How old are you?
37.
You're unless you get married and divorced in the next 3 years. I mean, you can't talk about how divorce is easy, and you haven't even been divorced.
No, but I've had 12 years of relationships end.
Divorce is way harder than a breakup.
4 minutes ago, you had the opposite take.
No.
Divorce is not that big of a deal.
It feels like you're reliving the breakup again, and
No.
I don't need that. That's my whole point.
Look, I agree that it's not a big deal. It's just
Okay.
a breakup is I'm out. Good to see you. Have a nice life.
You gotta teach me how to break up.
You just keep coming back.
I do come back.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
Because even when she
And I
tried to
was
talk
like-
to him, he was like, "Oh, I'm on a mobile phone." That was honestly, that's an '80s flex, bitch. I'm on the phone in the car.
You know how much this costs right now?
Not impossible.
$6 a minute.
There are 1-900 numbers, nigga, that are cheaper than this, right? What are those? You ask young kids. That's how people used to jack off back in the day on the phone. Times were different. Niggas used to see a commercial at 11 o'clock at night on USA Network.
Sometimes it's not about the visual; it's about the audio.
Remember when they were like doing text? Because like that's how they upgraded.
Yeah,
They're like text a hot single. What?
that's right. Because now when you read it in the voice in your head of the hottest person you can think of.
Honestly, OnlyFans is like if you would have went back in time and told the 1-900 niggas that there's a thing called OnlyFans, they will like try to jump in the time machine with you, nigga.
Yeah, they're like, let me come with you. No, you don't want this. The future is terrible. Everything's underwater.
You're pulling a walk hard. You don't want this.
You don't want this.
It's called OnlyFans.
You don't want it. You don't want no part of this, Bobby. So it's got to cost like a lot of money. Nah, some of these bitches just give it away for free. Well, it's got to be like real exclusive. You can get it literally everywhere.
You are now listening to Cult 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your.
I
You know,
still think- Go ahead. I was gonna say, I still
that
think
just
that
reminds me that remember Skinamax or Cinemax?
yeah.
And then now HBO, the app that is HBO is now called Max. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Sorry. So that certainly wasn't worth,
I
mumbling
love-
all over what you were saying.
Well, because I'm still convinced that first podcast is completely fake. Like the guys plan what they're gonna say beforehand. Anyone who didn't know North America and South America were connected at this point in their life in the world.
That's all.
Just get out.
That's all an act. Like,
Um,
and it may not even be scripted. It'd literally be like if me and you had a show, and I was like, Dave, I'm just gonna be the dumbest motherfucker. Okay,
yes,
whatever subject you throw out, I'm just gonna, be a dumb.
yeah,
shit.
and it's always the same guy who's always just doing the stupid stuff. And then I love how he has a clip of the guy talking about divorce and it not being a big deal, and then the clip from their show, they're talking about porn. Just, it's interesting. Kassan had a quick question for us here. Are we a fan of Star Trek? Yes or no? Yes. But what do you define as Star Trek? Anything pre-Enterprise? Okay, yes. I'm a fan of all of that. Anything
Right.
since the reboot movies came out? Yeah, probably not. That's when they ruined
I
Star
didn't
Trek.
I didn't hate that first Abrams Star Trek movie.
No, I
really
didn't
didn't.
hate it either. I was like, "Oh, this is a cool, interesting direction," but then I think they took the wrong lessons from that, and made it more action than it
Yeah.
was a thinking man show. Um, yeah. Let's see.
Oh, and that's the thing. And I swear, Kassan, I'm not trying to make you hate me. I guess it's just going to happen naturally. And that's okay. I love you. My Star Trek fandom extends to the fact that, like, my grandparents liked the old show. So, like, when the movies came out, it was a thing. My favorite, or at least the one I remember most, is the one with the whales and the one where they have the
the
Vulcan bird of
Voyage
prey.
Home.
Yeah. Um, Outside of that, my grandmother, whom I spent a lot of time at her house, was a Next Generation fan. But to me, it was just so boring. Like, it was like people sitting down with a funny hat and like the stars just in the background going while they talk about some techno babble that I don't know. So I like Star Trek, but I don't, because I'm also a big time Star Wars fan. So I kind of get into that.
So, Kassan's asking DS9. The funny thing about DS9, and I do love DS9, is that um, it's the only show that they've ever done where they actually had a plan on here's how the show's going to start and here's how the show's going to end. It was a 7-year plan, and they knew what they wanted each season to touch on, and the highs and the lows. Now, did they follow, like, did they have everything scripted out from the beginning? No, but they still knew where they were starting and where they were ending. Like, they wanted Cisco to go into the wormhole at the end. They wanted him to not believe anything when he started out. He was just a Starfleet captain now in charge of the space station, and then have him, or commander, and then have him be a believer, and then, end up in the wormhole. So it's like, when I found that out, I'm like, "Oh, I think that's why, in my opinion, it's the best one." But because, they knew what they were doing and they stuck with it. Um, Randy, he says it was great for falling asleep too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we got a little bit of news, and I'm going to start with the story that a lot of people were talking about this week, and then it got debunked today, apparently. So there were rumors there was going to be a Joker TV series based on the Joker from the Batman movie. And I mean, it was in a lot of different places. And then all of a sudden, James Gunn came out and it was like, no, 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 no. None of that's true. I don't know where these rumors came from. But yeah, we're not doing a Joker solo TV show. And there's no plans to bring him into the DCU. So at this moment, and yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, there's a world of people call fake news out there and whatnot, and it even happens in the entertainment industry where this came out and it was everywhere. Did you see any of the articles of this week talking about this Joker series coming?
I did, and I didn't do any hardcore research, so on the surface level, it actually made sense to me. So I guess I really didn't question it,
Mm-hmm.
because they are doing it successfully with the Penguin show,
Penguin, yeah.
and I think that Gotham as a universe in itself could actually work. So I know in the past that I've said, oh, there's too many fucking Batmans. But I do get with Batman there being the more street level shit, and then oh yes, he's with fucking Superman and Wonder Woman in the Justice League. So that is really two different distinct taste of Batman. So I'm kind of starting to understanding, if they do it right, them having at least two kind of Batman universi. So with that said, I was actually kind of down for us learning about these villains through these shows so that when they're in the movie, their character, we already got the character development and we're enjoying, because let's face it, that's why we all showed up for Endgame and Infinity War and all that shit, because we had all this shit before COVID, before Disney Plus developing the movies. I see no reason they can't develop shit with shows other than the people that are going to cry about, oh, I don't want to watch. Okay. I mean, you don't have to. You just don't get as
Right.
much out of it. So
I agree and disagree at the same time. I don't have an issue with
well, you're
them develop-
stupid, Dave. How could you believe? I'm sorry. We're not doing that. I thought we were. Sorry.
Anyway, biting my tongue. In the sense of, I think Penguin works because Colin Farrell did an amazing job in the movie. He gave us a breakout performance. He gets lost not only in the makeup, but he gets lost in the character. And it was new and unique, and people were like, "Ooh, that's really good. I want more of that." So I think that's why doing a solo Penguin show worked. The Joker we got in for 2 seconds in an after credit scene. So like bringing him into a show when you really don't know anything about this version of the Joker and thinking people are just going to love it, I think you're going to end up with Joker 2.
I was thinking that a little bit. Like, watch, we're at least we're watching Snatch. So there's
yes, this is for Snatch. See, he's got his little shirt and tie.
Yeah,
I got my hat like Brad Pitt. Yeah, exactly. This is all. We're these are late Halloween costumes for Snatch.
No, I literally just got in from my part-time job, so I had no time to dress down.
Kassan, Randy had an opportunity to join us tonight, and he said, "You're talking about Snatch? No way!"
What does that mean, Randy? What do you mean? No, like seriously?
You
don't like the movie, or
they did it on Cult 45?
Oh,
so
okay.
he's already traumatized by it. So yeah, I like. Yes, he's a car salesman, Kassan.
Right.
I think
Cutco knives.
Like again, I think maybe if in the Batman 2 we get Joker as the main villain and he does an amazing job, then that might spin off into another solo show. But
Yeah.
I think giving us the show before we know anything about the Joker, and Kassan said he didn't want to do the show. He didn't want them to do the show because it takes away the mystery of the Joker and whatnot. If they do it like the Joker graphic novel, if you've ever read it, where it's done through the eyes of one of his gang members, and Joker's like, it's all about Joker, but he's not the main character. He's not the one telling you the story. I think that works, right? Like you could do a mini series with that aspect of it, where we're not giving too much away about the Joker. We're talking about how people who are his underlings are afraid of him, but they're also afraid of Batman. And yeah, I think that would be cool. But also, Joker doesn't work without Batman. I turn you to the Joaquin Phoenix version. Once I do a movie, I never look back. It distracts from the now. Randy, that's excuses.
A good portion of my life has been spent distracting myself from the now.
That's why we drink.
I know I couldn't even get time to get anything of that together. So
Ah, that's a shame. Um, moving on. This popped up. I saw this pop up after I sent the email, and I said, this this is a good story to talk about. A good distraction. Um, so Mattel put out a line of Wicket dolls for the movie
yeah.
to promote the movie, and on the packaging is a link to a porn website. How is that missed? How is that even a thing? What is going on here?
Quality control these days in a lot of areas seems to be lacking. Yeah, you just I don't know, but remember when the Disney VHSs, the Little Mermaid had the penises on it and stuff, like stuff
That's
people have gotten.
because every artist and cartoonist I've ever met has a dirty sense of humor, and I feel like that
Yeah.
was done. Ooh, what can we get away with? I honestly believe that. Yeah,
Uh,
but this is
oh
just
my god.
straight up take it a porn. Like, I mean, and I know Randy's running out and buying a Wicked doll right now. Um, oh, I know he doesn't need that.
Yeah, well, that's
So
what I was
yeah,
gonna say. Like, who needs a link to porn? I mean, it doesn't seem. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, geez, if I could just find porn on the internet." I've just never heard that sentence.
yeah, I know. It's like I don't know. I mean, I turn my computer on and it's just like right there. I don't know how that happened, but
Yeah.
but everyone else, yeah, they're having a hard time finding it here. Like it's only 60% of the internet. I think when I last heard 60 or 70%. It's like it's insane. The majority of the internet is porn. Uh, we just saw a clip from his podcast talking about his availability on OnlyFans. Poor Randy. So yeah, like I don't know. And then did you see like there were these brat dolls that went out and like if you wet them, their clothes would disappear and they had like sexy
Oh
underwear on
no,
underneath. Yeah, that was a few years
no.
ago, and that was like very disturbing. Like, what is going on at these toy companies? Um, just I don't know. Randy says if
Yeah.
they took all the porn off the internet, there could
Right.
only
There'd
be
only be one
one
site that
site
says.
that said bring back the porn.
So when you open up your browser instead of Google, it's just going to be bring back porn.
Maybe if they got rid of all the porn on the internet, people would actually go outside and interact with the world again, and
Yeah.
actually get girlfriends and have families and yeah. That's it. I'm an advocate for porn removal now. Uh, if they
Big
took the
problem
porn
in
off the
Japan.
internet, we could see the world descend into apocalyptic Gotham.
Yeah. Because yeah, I mean,
So
especially
Kassan's
nowadays, there
saying
seems to
that,
be a
yeah,
lot of sexual frustrations, and yeah,
Kassan thinks it's the only thing bringing keeping society at bay. All right. All right, moving on. Let's talk. We got a couple trailers that came out this week. Excitement, excitement, excitement. We got a new trailer, extended trailer for Brave New World, Captain America Brave New World, which gives us our best look at Red Hulk yet. And then a little bit into the story. It's definitely a Manchurian Candidate type show where Isaiah, obviously something goes on with him. He gets captured, he's in jail, and basically he's having a conversation with Sam, like, be careful out there. So I don't know. There's definitely going to be some intrigue. I feel like they're trying to capture some of the excitement from Winter Soldier, some of that espionage type stuff. I don't know.
I
What did
got
you think of?
that.
Yeah, what did you think of
Yeah,
the trailer?
no, no, I was definitely getting, like you said, Captain America, Winter Soldier, feng shui,
Yeah,
for sure, and And up until this trailer, I really want to say that the exciting thing about this movie is going to be Red Hulk. But I think
Yeah.
this trailer actually did a very good job of displaying Sam Wilson, Captain America's capabilities more.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I like that. Because I'm actually starting to, my wall of me kind of hating on non X-Men, MCU properties right now, softening a little bit. And it starts with, again, the Brave New World here. I'm interested. I think it's going to be good. I honestly do. It looks like it's going to be good.
Definitely, there was definitely more shots of the Celestial sticking out of the ocean, so they are going to address it. Hopefully, it's not just going to be there. And from the trailers, someone is saying it looks like he has adamantium wings now on his suit. Definitely something because he cuts through like a car with his wing.
Yeah, they're vibranium. They're vibranium.
You think
I
they're
mean,
vibranium? It is
his whole
Wakanda.
setup is his whole setup's from Wakanda now.
So yeah, it could be vibranium. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was adamantium.
Well, sure, we would love for that to be the case all day, but
And some Canadian mutant with healing factor, hey, let's
comes in and cusses at people, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. What are the X-Men you keep bringing up, Don? Sounds like some C-tier characters since they don't see the light of day. Ooh,
Oh, that's
fighting
right.
words.
Instead of X-Men, I should have said Inhumans because that's.
I don't know. The biggest movie of 2024 had an X-Men in it. Had the X-Man in it, apparently.
X-Man, absolutely.
Colossus was in it, right? I mean, he was only at a dinner party, but he was,
but yeah.
But he was there.
He was there. Highest grossing R-rated movie ever. For the second time, has Colossus in it.
I think am I wrong? It's the highest grossing X-Men movie. Because it has a lot of X-Men characters in it.
I would say so. Sure, yeah. It has a lot, yeah.
I don't think any of the other ones made $1 billion. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, it's now streaming on Disney Plus if you haven't seen it yet, which I don't know how you've not seen that movie at this point. So yeah, I don't know. It did get me more excited. February cannot get here soon enough. Because we also got another trailer this week. We got an extended look at the Thunderbolts asterisk. Which I kind of feel like this extended clip is like, hey, remember Bucky? Bucky's cool. He's the Winter Soldier. Yeah, let's get excited about Bucky. And then these other guys.
Yeah, he certainly does seem to get more shine here. He's doing crazy shit with his arm, which okay. It's cool.
Yeah.
Again, this is more softening of the wall. I hope that the best jokes aren't in this trailer. I honestly hope that this does focus more on comedy.
Yeah.
So far, because to me, that's the only thing that makes the C tier characters that fill this movie like worth anything. It's blatantly suicides. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. I'm not even drinking tonight. Dave is, not me. But I'm here for it. I'm a little bit more skeptical of the Thunderbolts asterisks than Captain America: Brave New World, but I think it could be amusing.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. They blatantly call out the name in the trailer, right? You have Red Guardian going, Thunderbolts, let's go Thunderbolts, and the rest of them going like, yeah, we can't call ourselves that. So that's really got me like, okay, what is that going to be the moment where when are they going to reveal what's up with the asterisks? Like that's not really the name. Is it going to be Dark Avengers? I don't know. Let's see. Kasan says, "Can we talk about our expectations of Avengers movies going forward? Will you be happy if they do the basic introduce a big bad, heroes fail, but find a way to win over the bad guys shtick?" Um, yeah. Uh,
Um,
I think it's gonna be I think going forward we're gonna revamp what we think the Avengers are, right? Like the Avengers for the first whatever you want to call that, the Infinity Stone Saga, the whatever it is,
yeah.
it was Cap, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, and then a supporting cast that came in and out throughout the movies, and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and like that's how we thought of the Avengers. Now that I think they're kind of all out, and I think we're gonna get again. This is what I think the asterisk is. It's going to be Dark Avengers. So that's going to be
Yeah.
the flipping of what you think an Avengers movie is. Now here are a group of characters who are avenging their past or whatever. How they're going to explain it. Here's your Dark Avengers. We just got the Agatha All Along series that introduced Billy, and we know now that series ends them leading off to go look for Tommy. So we've got Wiccan and Speed in the MCU. We've got all the other. We're going to get Young Avengers. So they're trying to flip it on its head of how we think of the Avengers, and I think that's a good idea. And I want Dark Avengers, and I want Young Avengers, and I want to like
Secret Avengers.
Secret Avengers, yeah, and then eventually have them going head to head for some reason, which maybe that's what Secret Wars is going to be. Maybe we get an X-Men versus Avengers at some point. I think they're going to touch on that somehow. And when will we have a meaningful big bad again? Kasan asks. I don't know. Like, I feel
I
like
do, right? Because we like right Secret Wars, right? We all think they're going Secret Wars.
yeah,
And we think we're going God Doom. You know, I think that he's coming. Now again, this whole Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom now is shaking the foundation of that a little bit. And they're off kilter anyway because it was supposed to be Kang.
yeah.
So I think they settled on Doom though.
I think that's part of the problem at the moment. Also going forward, right, is that they put all their eggs in the Kang basket. Obviously, so with not only Ant-Man, they made him the main bad in Loki, and then it was going to be the Kang Dynasty, and all of this like huge plans they had to be Kang. Let's have the big bad, and everyone. Let's have a build up to that big bad. Um, I feel like the lesson from this was that's not going to work. So let's flip the whole story and do something different. And this idea of, and I swear, if it's not an alternate version of Tony Stark who becomes Doom, um, it's not going to be worth it. The story's not going to be worth it, and that is my biggest fear. I do not want it to be Doctor Doom or yeah, what's his real name? It's
Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom. I want it to be Tony Stark in an alternate universe takes on that name for some reason and then gets sucked into Battle World, and that's how this is tied together. Because they even said in rumors about the script, but again, they're not even filming it yet, and we know they changed so much between writing it and filming it. That there are more scenes with Spider-Man and Doctor Doom than there are with Reed Richards and Doctor Doom, which tells me that that is the angle they're going for. That this is an alternate version of Tony Stark. It's the only way that it makes sense. Otherwise, get a different actor to play him. Like bringing him back just so you can go, we got RDJ back it, but he's Doctor Doom, is just a cheap trick that is going to piss the fans off, and they know that. Like let's be completely honest. They know that doing that would just piss fans off, so they're not going to do that. It's going to be a multiverse version, and then that's is how we're going to finally get rid of the multiverse. Because I think we're all tired of it, right? Am I
Big
wrong?
time.
Yeah.
I started tired with it.
Yeah, because again, what's going on with Strange? He was going to fight incursions at the end of his
Mhm.
movie, and we haven't seen or heard from him since. You know, he killed Wanda off and then flew through a rift, and that's it. Like, come on, where's he at?
Again, if they're doing Bendis' Secret War, which I know they never go straight from that, so this is probably not going to happen. But in that storyline, he's basically working with God Emperor Doom.
Yeah,
He could have been in God Doom's position. He didn't want to. He didn't want to be God.
yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with Kassan here. He's saying that the Penguin shows the aftermath of what happened to Gotham after the Riddler destroyed it in the movie. And there's an idea that like there are aspects of that in the Daredevil TV series with the Battle of New York. I don't disagree with that idea, but and I know you're liking it, Don, and I haven't gotten back to it, but I don't like the idea of a Batman adjacent TV show. I don't like the idea of a Spider-Man
Blame me.
adjacent movie.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
not a big fan of those either. I don't know. Yeah, it's convenient. It's
yeah. I mean, and like you can also look at, I mean, Jesus. In the same movie, you had Man of Steel, right? And you see Metropolis get destroyed in that battle, and then all of a sudden Clark Kent shows up at the Daily Planet and to be a reporter, and Metropolis is completely healed before the movie's even over. Like, yeah, like that's stupid. There should be you should see the effects of it. Like, I mean, it's so funny too, because like that's where Damage Control was born from in the comics. And anyone who's never read the Damage Control books should read them, at least the original miniseries from the 80s, where it was like, this is a team that was their job when superheroes fought in the city and destroyed a building. They had these like giant machines and robots, and they came in and they like repaired the damage so that New York could get on with its life, and it's like, it was a funny way to answer that question. It's like, how come Spider-Man fought Juggernaut in the city in this issue, and then next month the Fantastic Four in the same part of the city, and it's completely fine, and it's not even a mention of it, So like they did this as a joke to answer that question, but I do think that we should have gotten a Damage Control show. Side note, I just got my hookah paid for by a distant relative. I bumped into the Arabic hookah lounge. Good feeling. What?
Okay, so a hookah is there's basically like this big glass thing where you put stuff that you can smoke and you light
Okay.
it, and you but in the Arabic culture though, it's flavored and stuff, like like four people sit around it, and puff on it. That's what he's talking about. So, good stuff. Enjoy.
Maybe we should do an episode where we all get together and smoke a hookah while we talk.
Okay.
John would never go for that.
It should be at his house. He's the one out in the country. So.
He's a fuddy-duddy, though. We'll see. All right. Was that it? Is that all the news I had? I think that's all the news I had. So yeah, I mean these trailers are good. They got us excited. Let's see what happens going forward. So we'll take one more quick break, come back, and talk about a movie that Don wants to talk about. We'll be right back.
This is so wizarding.
Brought
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistair. You are listening to So Wizard.
You're thinking people gonna die?
The only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
No one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Ray. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagans, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoulWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find Soul Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
All right. We are back. Okay, so this movie, Snatch, which is, it's hard to even get past the title, came out in 2000.
Turn of the millennia.
Turn of the millennia, starring Jason Statham, I can't ever say his name right, Del Toro,
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro, Jason Statham, Brad Pitt, Vinnie Jones is in there. Like it's a long list of people. It's an ensemble film, and it is Guy Ritchie wrote and directed this, and it is so 2000s. It is not a bad movie. It's a cult classic. It was made for $10 million dollars and grossed over 83 million in the box office. So obviously it was a success. And so Snatch, like, what this Kassan's asking, what does Snatch mean? It's like steal something. They snatch something. If you've never seen this movie, I feel that it's difficult to explain. It starts off with Del Toro in New York with a bunch of guys dressed as Hasidic Jews, and they steal a diamond, a very expensive diamond from a jeweler.
86 carats, I think.
Yeah, 86 carats, they keep saying in the movie. Ends up going to England to get rid of it, and hijinks ensue. He gets... Actually, it's funny because, like, he was just gonna, go sell it, but was going to go to a bookie and make a bet, and then he gets killed going to the bookie. And
well, because it's a whole thing, because one of the guys that he does the original heist with, because they're in Antwerp at first, so then he needs to go to London, England, so he can't take his gun. So he's a Russian guy, and he says, hey, go see Boris the Blade for a gun in England. So he sends him there. Well, this guy is Boris the Blade's brother, so he calls him and he says, hey, by the way, I'm sending a guy with an 86 carat diamond to you, so, do stuff. And so, this whole hijinks ensues where he hires two, pawn shop owners to rob a bookie to get Frankie Four Fingers, which is Benicio del Toro's character, to get the diamond. But it all goes awry. Because they end up killing the guy Benicio del Toro's character.
Right.
And it's all about this diamond. People are just trying to get this diamond. A bunch of fucked up shit.
So I want you to make your case.
Okay.
On why you feel that this is Did you say superhero or comic book movie or
I'm
both?
gonna say more of a superhero movie, but you could okay, but yeah, superhero movie. So let me just put an example out there first, where I kind of compare it to. Remember, I think it was M. Night Shyamalan with the Bruce Willis, Mr. Glass, Invincible.
Yes.
Those are considered superhero.
Unbreakable.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbreakable and whatever. So okay, where you see where I'm at. So that's considered like a superhero movie, but it's
Mhm.
very, I guess I would say, down to earth, and the powers aren't like super fantastic. Okay, but nonetheless, they're there.
Okay.
So in this movie, you have two characters in particular that exhibit superpowers. The first one is going to be pretty much the hero of the movie, played by Brad Pitt, Mickey,
Yes.
who's just this skinny. They call them pikeys, which I know is a derogatory term, but just what they call them. But they're like gypsy, and he's one of them. He's shisty and shit, hence why he gets involved in this. But you know, he can punch anybody out in one punch after getting the shit beat out of him. Like, they have the
Yeah.
biggest dudes ever beat the fuck out of him, and he just comes back. I mean, he's just like stretching, letting the guy beat on him, and then finally when he's ready, boom, one punch out. Right, one yeah, One Punch Man Mickey, exactly. Thank you, Thrawn.
So
But
yeah,
literally, yeah.
I also want to point out this came out the year after Fight Club, so they definitely were
Right.
trying. Like, I'm not saying Brad Pitt isn't an action star, um, but they definitely were, I think, leaning in on that success of Fight Club with this movie. But go ahead.
So yeah, there's Mickey who ends up dealing. Oh, well, okay, let's go to the other guy with superpowers. Boris the Blade, Boris the Bullet Dodger. Like, this dude is literally getting shot point
Played
blank
by Vinnie
range.
Jones, the great Vinnie Jones.
No, that's Bullet Tooth Tony.
Oh, you're right.
I'm talking about the other Russian guy, Boris the Blade.
Boris? Okay, yes.
Boris the Bullet Dodger. Why they call him Bullet Dodger? Because he dodges bullets. Anyway,
Right, but they call Vinny's character Bulletproof.
Bullet Tooth. But he himself also exhibits a little bit of invulnerability,
Okay.
right?
I'm going to say that too. There's a lot of English and Irish accents in this movie.
Right. If you don't like
subtitles.
English snarkiness, that's what makes this movie as funny as it is to me. It's just all the snarky comments. That just, all the quotable shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got these characters, and again, the hero who are exhibiting superpowers. Okay. But then let's look at the villain, right? Because every good comic book, superhero movie, whatever, needs a good villain. This has a great villain in it.
Flat
Bricktop.
top.
Bricktop.
Bricktop. Yeah. I kept
Old
thinking
dude.
of the Marvel villain. So yeah, go ahead.
Right on. Now, he doesn't have any superpowers. He's just very diabolical. I mean, and they make you hate him in the worst way, because like one of the first things they show him doing is basically torturing a dog, because he's a dog fighting ring person.
Yep.
So instantly, you hate him. But yeah, he's the villain, clearly the villain. I guess spoiler alerts, so just to kind of break it down to kind of what happens, because there's a fucking lot. Mickey and Jason Statham and Tommy, the good guys, they get in trouble with Bricktop. He's a horrible guy, so he at one point gets so pissed off that he burns Mickey's mother alive in what they call caravan, but it's basically a mobile home.
Right.
And
which I when I saw that, I'm like, okay, there is your superhero origin, right? He becomes an orphan because his mother gets killed, and he wants revenge.
Right.
Yep.
There you go. And long story short, he gets it. He organizes his other gypsy people, because they're all tight, and it's a whole big crescendo at the end where the bad guy that you hate, although I love a lot of his lines, he gets what's coming to him. by Mickey, the hero.
No, that's the thing, Gassan. He says the good guys are the thieves, right? No, they're actually not the thieves. How do I put
They'll
this?
shiesty you a little bit, like they'll take
Yeah.
advantage of you for not,
Yeah, okay. Thrawn has obviously seen the movie before too. Yeah, boxing promotion guys. So
Yes.
Jason Statham and Tommy are boxing promoters. I mean, it's unlicensed boxing, but it's still boxing. And they're working with this guy who's like this big guy. He's like I think he's Gorgeous
George.
Yeah, Gorgeous George. And that was the whole thing. They went to the gypsies to get a caravan from them, and they get into a fight, and that's Brad Pitt's character Mickey one punches Gorgeous George and like destroys his jaw. So that's how Brad Pitt gets involved with these guys. Like, so they need to use him to replace the guy that he knocked out for the fighting thing, and then he gets into a fight and beats the other guy in one punch. So yeah, like they're not thieves, they're just guys who got involved. And it's funny because it's one of the things with Jason Statham's characters. He's trying to like not be really involved with these guys because he knows he'll owe them favors and all this stuff, and he's just trying to like make money doing this boxing thing. So yeah, he's not a thief, he's not a con man, he just got involved. Like that's one of the things that makes this movie interesting, is that like it's one of the few movies like this where, yeah, are they totally on the up and up? No, but they're not as terrible as the bad guys.
Yeah, like the bad guy Bricktop again, and he explains this process to you in the movie, where his whole thing is he owns a pig farm, he starves the pigs, but all the people that he has killed, which just watching the movie alone is a number, he feeds the remains to the pigs.
Yep.
Like, everybody fucking knows it. And again, he sits down. It is the dialogue in this movie and the way people like interact. It's fucking great and it's funny. Just great lines where Tommy and Turkish, the two boxing promoters, when they have to inform Bricktop that Gorgeous George can no longer be in the fight, Jason Statham's character is like, "We lost Gorgeous George," and Bricktop responds with, "Well, where'd you lose him? He's not. If he's a set of car keys now, is he? He's not. If he's inconspicuous, it's just."
Yes,
great line.
it's definitely, there's a lot of British humor like that in it. A lot of derogatory one-liners. Like, I mean, the funny thing is, like, Jimmy Carr is one of my favorite comedians. He's a dirty comedian, with a lot of like quick one-liner jokes. So like, yeah, I appreciated that in this movie. I got it. I gotta say, the movie kept my interest the whole time. It wasn't like I was watching it and I got bored at any point. There's a lot of dumb characters in this movie, though, and I don't mean like unnecessary characters. I mean the character is dumb, and it's just like, like the three pawn shop guys. Like, oh my goodness, like, oh my.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they made it through the movie alive. I'm completely serious there. Like,
busted by the police, but they did make it through.
Yes, busted by the police, but they were alive by the end.
So I want to connect this though.
Yeah,
I want to make this connection for everybody. So as we've stated, Benicio del Toro is in this. He plays Frankie Four Fingers, which soon into the movie gets killed, but he's still a big part of it. In the MCU, he plays the Collector.
Yeah.
In Infinity War, okay. Well, let's stop there. Let's go back to the beginning of this movie. At some point, Benicio del Toro's character goes to one of the Antwerp guys during the diamond heist, and he's like, "Where's the stone?" Thanos says to the Collector in Infinity War, "Where is the stone?"
Oh my god.
It was a total.
Oh my god. You can connect them. You can connect Snatch to the MCU.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he gets killed in an interesting, stupid way. Oh my god, that was yeah. Oh, and then
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about that scene.
Okay.
So, although the two people that Boris the Blade, it's three, but two people that he hires to kidnap Frankie Four Fingers, right? They botched that, but somehow their driver notice as they're running away because they're basically going to get caught trying to
Right.
rob this place. Their driver Tyrone, um, it's as funny as it, they just stole this car. They brought a
Yep.
dog in the car, and all Tyrone is concerned about is like, stop that dog from dribbling on me seats. And he's like, it's a stolen car, Tyrone.
Yep.
I don't care. It's my car. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, he ends up though finding, because they were there to rob it and take the guy with the briefcase with four fingers. So he ends up haphazardly finding him, but they have to kidnap him. So they take him back to their place, and they call Boris the Blade. They have the stone. They have it in their hand, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we want half of this." And they walk out of the room. Boris like puts his ear plugs in, gets his gun out, because they say his name where Frankie Four Fingers can hear it, and they
Mhm.
didn't want that. The Russians don't want it coming back to him. So boom, as he's got a tea cozy on his head. Don't know if you know what that is, but that's what they put on his head. He shoots him through that. He's dead. He goes back into the room. He's like, "Okay, motherfuckers, give me the diamond." They put it back in the case.
Yeah. Which was
And he's like,
stupid.
"Okay, open the case." They're like, "Well, we don't know the code. You just killed the only dude that knows it." Like, that's the dumb shit.
And that was like, I kept thinking, oh, they lied. Like, it's in his pocket. He just said they put it back in the case. Like,
Yeah.
why on earth would you have put it back in the case? It was so,
Right.
and it was just like, oh,
He chops his arm off, as Thrawn is mentioning, and everything. And yeah, doesn't check that they were lying.
and then, oh, and then when they come back to their office later, um, with the mob boss from New York and Vinnie Jones, his character, and it was like, they're like, oh, it's so ripe in here because they still had the body in their
Yeah.
office decomposing while they were running around doing all this stupid stuff. But yeah, like that's, oh my god.
I love the music in this. I think the music is well done in this movie. All different types of music, but I think all the moments are just freaking great.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie, and I can see your argument. It's definitely edited and feels like a comic book movie at times. You could say this was the Mickey O'Neill origin story, and you kind of want to know what
Right.
happened to him, because that's another thing. That by the end of the movie, the gypsies have moved on, and they don't know
'Cause
what happened
they
to them.
all live in trailers. So yeah,
Right.
shit goes down, they're just boom, gone.
Yep. Exactly. Well, I mean, they also killed like all the mob
A
people,
bunch of people, yes.
and then disappeared. Um, so yeah, I can't fault it. Oh, so it's Guy. Kasan said, "Is there any overlap between the writer and the Avengers movie?" No, it's written and directed by Guy Ritchie. It's totally his movie, and he hasn't written anything for Marvel. But I did have another. I had a realization as I was watching this movie because the only other Guy Ritchie movie that I know that I've seen off the top of my head is Man from Uncle, which is Henry Cavill and Army Hammer, right? And it's based on the old Man from Uncle TV show. And anyone who's seen that movie knows that Army Hammer plays like a German spy guy, and Henry Cavill plays an American. So he has them doing pretending they're from different countries and doing different accents than anything else. But he does it in this movie too, right? Del Toro is supposed to be an American gangster who stole the diamond and went over to England to get rid of it. And then Brad Pitt, who's an American, is playing a gypsy, an English Irish gypsy with this heavy jaunty accent. It's like, what is it with Guy Ritchie? Like, is that his thing? Like, he's like,
well, because his other movie that I know about is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which has a lot of the same people in it. It's very much like it's Snatch Light almost. I don't know, but it's good in its own right.
Does he do the same thing in that as well? Like,
well, like Bullet Tooth Tony is basically in both movies. You know, Vinnie Jones's character is
okay.
His character is more of a focus in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Vinnie Jones is. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Yeah, I keep forgetting I can bring it up.
Yes, he was Juggernaut, and
well, as was that Thrawn said, Bullet Tooth Tony equals the Punisher, which I get.
Yeah,
yeah, no, he's a Juggernaut.
Bitch. So I guess there's your overlap. Vinnie Jones was the Juggernaut.
There you go.
And now the Fox Marvel movies are part of the MCU. So there you go. It's all connected. You know.
Well, I appreciate you indulging me. This is really one of my most favorite films.
You know,
it's really funny and
it's funny. I hadn't seen it before. I know I had heard of it. Again, it came out after Fight Club, and I do think they were trying to capitalize. That's the word. Thank you, on Brad Pitt's success through Fight Club and all that stuff. And I don't obviously you don't blame movie companies for doing that. And it's a fun movie. It's confusing. You got to pay attention to it. I will say that through the whole thing, like, because there's a lot of moving pieces in this movie, and young Del Toro and young Brad Pitt look a little bit alike. I thought that was Brad Pitt at first, as dressed as an Hasidic Jew, and then when I realized it was Del Toro, I'm like, oh, okay, because I was so confused. I'm like, why is he like here, and now all of a sudden he's the gypsy? Cousin Avi makes the movie though.
He is, because he's the one that basically is hired Frankie Four Fingers to do this. And it's his concern for Frankie Four Fingers and his gambling that makes him go from New York, all the way to England. And, as he says, I don't like leaving my own country unless it's other countries, where you can sit on a white sandy beach and drinks with little straw hats, and
played by
Doug the Head. Yeah, I'm trying to find it because he's a famous actor.
Dennis Farina. He passed away in 2013. So,
but he has great lines, because he's talking about London, England, yeah, England, yeah, fish and chips, bad, bad food, worse weather, Mary fucking Poppins.
Yes.
And he gets to his cousin Doug the Head's. He travels over to England, and he goes to his office, and he's like, "Hey, Avi," and he's like, "Sit down and shut up, you big bald fuck." It's just this movie. It's just You're right. You're right, Thrawn. Avi, definitely.
Yes. So yeah.
Stop me, Dave, because I'll go all night. So.
Will you go all night? Well, and that was the thing too, right? Okay, so Avi and Vin Jones's character, Bullet Tooth, sorry.
Bullet Tooth Tony, he hires him to find Frankie Four Fingers, and that's where Bullet Tooth Tony comes in.
But they show the whole flashback scene of him being shot and living. Right, that's the whole thing.
While Will You Be My Lucky Star from Madonna plays, who at the time was dating Guy Ritchie.
Right. But that's the funny thing. And so then, when cousin Avi, has the gun and the dog. Oh, my dog! The dog is who makes the movie. That's
where Snatch comes from, because the dog at one point they go to give him a toy at one point, because when you do a deal with the gypsies, Brad Pitt's people, they give you a dog. Okay. and they did a deal with the jewelry pawn shop guys that went to rob the bookies. But they show you they try to give him a toy, and he literally swallows this toy, and he goes, "Hey, don't snatch." So like that's, but eventually in this movie, he does that to the diamond.
Right,
And-
but like,
and-
but he Avi thinks he's attacking, so he starts shooting
Right.
wildly
Yes.
and kills
Bullet
Tooth.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's and that's the whole thing too, because that happens twice in the movie, and that's one of the jokes. Is like he dies in the pawn shop office, and it's like, hey, that's your problem now, and he leaves.
Right. No, and he just leaves. He just gets back on a plane to America, gone. He's like, fuck that diamond.
Yep. He just killed someone, and he just left the country. It's like, oh my god.
And that's how Turkish and Tommy, they end up with the diamond at the end of the movie.
Yes.
Because
they end up with the
dog that snatched it, and they took it to the vet. They found the diamond, and yeah, the vets are like, "Here you go." And so that's how the movie ends.
So no, because then they go back to Avi's counterpart in England.
Dug the head. Dug the head.
Dug the head, the bald fuck, to give him the diamond or try to sell him the diamond. And he ends up calling Avi and like, hey, guess what? I got the diamond. That's how the movie ends. So Avi ends up with the diamond anyway. Like, everything that happens in the movie is so unimportant. Yeah, he was supposed to get the diamond, ends up with the diamond at the end. It's just like, oh my god, it's all meaningless. Which is kind of what makes the movie funny. It's like all this crap happened, all these people died, and they didn't have to. So the moral of the story is that if you're gonna kill someone, feed their body to pigs. Oh wait, that's not what I was supposed to take away from it.
But shave the head and pull out their teeth. You could do this afterwards, but you don't want to go sifting through pig shit now, do you, boy? Love this movie.
Doug the Head ends up being the same fence everyone would use to sell the diamond. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole. Yeah, exactly. So it ends up going back to Avi. He would be the Joe Grizzly, I guess, of the movie, right there, Randy. Yeah. All right. No, I don't disagree with you. I kind of like. I mean, they're never gonna do it now because it's a 24-year-old movie at this point. But I kind of would want to see the continuing adventures of Mickey O'Neill, like that. That was the most interesting part of the movie, and I'll kind of see what happens. Like, the gangsters all had their diamond, they're happy. I'm sure that Turkish and Tommy made some money off of that diamond, and they retired. So yeah, so it's just let's see what happened to Mickey, the gypsy who's roaming the countryside in a caravan, married to Jennifer Aniston. So,
he became the Vanisher.
Wait a minute, isn't he with Madonna now?
Who? I don't keep up on. I'm sorry.
Oh no. The other one. Who's Brad Pitt with? Who's he?
He's either with Angelina Jolie.
That's it.
Angelina, right? Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of.
Who's Brad Pitt with? Whoever he wants to be. Ha ha ha
ha. Yeah, Angelina Jolie. Oh, they divorced in 2019. Oh, so he's single now. Interesting. Wait, is Angelina Jolie single? Yeah. I don't mind 6 kids. Oh,
and we saw John Voight at the Comic-Con, so now you could,
there you go. There you go. Oh, there's my connection. I could have
gone up to John.
I could have gone up to John at the convention and said, "Hey, what's your daughter up to?"
Yeah. I wonder if he would have thrown something at you.
So Kassan says Brad is currently dating I can't. D. Ramona, a jewelry executive. I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
I assume she's hot. She's probably like 20 something. You got to eat bugs to date Angelina. I don't want to date her. I just want a one night stand. Jeez. All right, all right. Well, we're not going to score this. It's a 24-year-old movie. I will recommend it though. Like if you've never seen it, it is currently on Disney Plus. If you've got Disney Plus, you can watch it for
That
free.
surprised me.
Yeah, it's on a bunch of services, but I watched it on Disney Plus. Obviously,
Same.
I'd never seen it before. It's a fun distraction for like about 2 hours, and just like you don't take it seriously. Just know that there's chaos, a bunch of people die, and a dog is the central figure of this movie. He's he's a Daisy, they call him at the end.
Daisy, yeah. Come here, Daisy.
Good boy. Like I feel like that was that was part of the humor too, right? Like they just saw the dog and it's like, oh, get the dog. And then it was like, oh, good Daisy, Daisy. And then I guess when he caught the dog, he realized it's a boy. It's like, oh, good boy, Daisy. And the cops were just like, okay, yeah, sure. There were a bunch of mobsters killed. You guys are where the gypsies were. But hey, you're just walking the dog with no leash in the middle of nowhere.
Take your dog. Take your dog. Be on your way. Okay.
Oh my god. All right. I recommend it. Do you recommend this movie to our audience there, Don?
Oh,
God, I
yeah.
couldn't think of your name for a second.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. How many carrots are you guys giving this movie? 10 out of 10 for me. That's why rating it's probably not the best thing because I just love it so much. So yeah, I recommend it. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had people watch this movie and because it's a bunch of English accent, it immediately turned them off. So if you're that type, okay, don't try to watch it.
If I was being completely honest, I would give it 8.5.
Still a good score.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching. It's not like you're gonna have to go to the movie theater to see it. You can see it for free on quite a few
Or
services.
you've already got Disney Plus.
Right, exactly. So definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. Is it a perfect movie? I don't think so. I like it. See, this has made me think like, what other Guy Ritchie movies are there that I haven't seen that I probably would enjoy? And I'm gonna have to check that out now. Let's see. Yeah, because I'm looking and like, wait, he did an Aladdin movie?
Oh, really?
Yeah. He did he did the live action Aladdin for Disney. Oh, that's
Nice.
funny. Okay. Oh, there you
It's not a
go.
horrible movie, honestly.
Yeah. So, but okay. So I will say, Snatch. He did the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. and he's done Man from Uncle and Aladdin. So I have to say that every movie I've ever seen that he's done, I've liked. So I'm gonna
Nice.
have to check out more of his movies now. Oh wow. And there you go. Sherlock Holmes, played by Robert Downey Jr., doing an English accent. Like that's gotta
Circular.
be his thing.
All circular. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's gotta be his thing. It's just I don't care what country you're from or what your native accent is. I think you're right for the role. You got to figure out that accent for the role. So interesting. I kind of like that. Screw accents. All right. There we go. We talked about the thing. We got it done. Let's bring this one in for a landing. Don, you got any recommendations or did you learn anything on the podcast this week?
I learned that you're a Guy Ritchie fan. That's what I learned. So kudos to that, though. Recommendations. I'm just gonna recommend Snatch. And the Penguin, of course. That's about it though.
All right. I learned the same thing. I didn't realize I was such a Guy Ritchie fan until I like looked at his filmography, and it's like, yeah, I like his movies. So I'm gonna try to check out another one. I'm probably Two Smoking Barrels will be the next one, and we'll see where we go from there. I will recommend though, if you've gotten this far in the podcast and you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we come here live every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then please smash that like button if you like what we're doing here. Really does help with the algorithm, gets the show out there more. More people will find us. We're at like 27,000, close to 28,000 subscribers at this point. So thank you to those who have found us and subscribed. And if you feel up to it and you're so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. You can get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. I have not looked into changing storage yet. I want to do that. I also want to work on a couple new designs. It's coming soon, but for now, just check it out. There's, we got discount codes and all that good stuff. Get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. You'll look good. You'll be styling, as the kids say, right? Is that what they say now?
Risen.
I'm sorry. I don't have any. I have young grandkids, and then I have adult children, so I don't hear the cool terms anymore. All right. And then also, please go check out superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews, and so much more. I've got people sending me stuff to review, and I have not heard from Chris in a while. I think he's got busy with life, which I don't blame him. It's a volunteer job. So I'll say two things. If you are a fan of the show and you like to read comics and tell people what you think of them, reach out if you've got time to review comics. Don started on this podcast as a comic book reviewer on the website and got too busy to do it, but now is on the fucking show every week. Because it is work. I will say that, to read a comic and then write
I was
a review.
thinking, I was honestly thinking, like, to make it less work, like maybe we should just do video reviews.
I think we're going to do that. Especially we'll do like 1 minute reviews and put them on our social media as well. That is something that So Wizard does, and they've had a lot of great success with it. So yeah, I think maybe going forward, Don, you and I will start doing that, and putting on our like TikTok and our Facebook and all that fun stuff. So look for that. Yes, there you go. This is how it works, boys and girls. We come up with shit right on the spot.
There you go.
Yeah, and I recommend go check out Snatch. You can find it on all of your streaming services, I think, pretty much. You can see and you can watch it for free, I'm sure, quite easily. It's a 24-year-old movie. And yeah, I don't know what we're talking about next week. We will have a guest host. That's already been lined up. A good friend of the show, Montego Bradley, Fans on Patrol, is back, and he is going to come and fill in for John next week, but I don't know what we're talking about. So once I know, you will know. And on that note, as always, boys and girls, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next week.
Superhero speak.